election's heating up.
Yeah, sure is.
Who are you gonna vote for?
Trump.
I hope you die.
That's so loving of you. I assume you're voting for Kamala.
How'd you know?
Just call it a lucky guess. So I'm wondering, why are you voting for Kamala?
Because I hate Trump. He's a fascist. If he ever gets into office, he'll take away our rights, lock up his political rivals, and he'll never leave office.
Did you know he was in office and he didn't do any of those things?
That has nothing to do with anything in this situation.
Of course not. But I understand, based on what you've been told to believe about Trump, that you don't want to vote for him. But I'm also wondering, what makes you want to vote for Kamala?
I don't know. There's just so many reasons. Like, for all the reasons.
Well, you don't have to name all the reasons, but I'd love to know just about one of them.
Well, she'll bring change.
Could you be just a little more specific?
She'll change everything.
Okay.
Yeah, if she gets into office, she'll change everything. Gosh darn it, it would be amazing.
She's already in office.
No, she's not. You can expect big things coming from her. But like, what's Trump gonna do if he gets into office? Aside from take away our rights to nose piercings and blue hair.
Yeah, I don't think he'd do that. But one of his policies that he would implement is securing the border.
I hate that. Immigrants helped make America what it is, and Trump just wants to close the border. Immigrants should have a legal process to get into America.
Yeah, that's actually what Trump would provide, the opportunity to follow a legal process to get into this country. Right now, the border czar just has the border wide open so anyone, including murderers, terrorists, and human traffickers, can just walk right in.
I don't think that's what Trump means by the words he says. He just wants to build a wall to keep everybody out and then, like a lunatic, require people to show an ID to vote. Fascist.
Oh, on a different note, I just saw the Democrats of the DNC have built a wall around the convention and require an ID in order to get in.
Well, that's just good security.
Yeah, I agree. And are there, other specific policies that Kamala has that make you want to vote for her?
Yeah, I just thought of a very specific one.
I'd love to hear it.
And this is a big one of hers. She wants to unburden what has been by what can be.
Did you know that's actually a communist saying taken right out of Marxist writings?
She's not a communist, idiot. She's a Democrat.
Can you name just one thing that Kamala wants to do that's not a communist policy?
Yeah. Unlike Trump, who's all about giving people equal opportunity, gross, Kamala knows that we don't all start in the same place, so she's all about giving people equity, which means we all end up in the same place.
That's very pure communism.
You couldn't be more mistaken. You Trump supporters are so uneducated. But here's another one. She wants to give free driver's license, free healthcare, and free college to illegal immigrants. I like that.
Trump definitely wouldn't do that.
Yeah, he'd probably only want to give those things for free to American citizens.
No, he wouldn't.
Ew, that's even worse. Why not?
Because that would be communism too.
No, I don't think it is. You just don't understand Kamala, who is black. She just wants people to be joyful. That's why strength through joy is her campaign theme.
Well, at least that's not communism.
Thank you.
It's actually Nazism.
What?
Yeah, Strength Through Joy was actually an organization set up by the Nazis in order to trick people into supporting them and their...
That seems a little absurd, Jarrett, but reality is, how many times have we, even on this show, played real-life versions of almost the exact same video?
Yeah, all the time. And it's funny, I have these conversations with my liberal friends and family members all the time. It's just like looking at watching myself from a third person. It's hilarious. And the fact that it's absurd, the fact that this is so true in society today, it's just insane. It just takes you back.
Yeah, and the absurdity of this video, you're watching it and you're like, come on, guys, that's a little bit. No, it's It's actually pretty close to reality. And they don't, they talk about, Kamala this, Kamala that. Nobody knows why they even want to vote for her. And reality is the reason why they want to vote for her is because she's not Trump. So, and that's what I've been saying for months now, is this election isn't about Biden versus Trump and now Kamala versus Trump. It's about Trump versus I don't like Trump. And the reason they don't like Trump is, frankly, anybody who actually has been able to get outside of the mainstream media bias and mainstream media indoctrination talking points and think for themselves, a lot of them have come over to, including several Democrats, including leading prominent Democrat candidates for president. Which just happened Friday with RFK, and then did you see they came out with, Jarrett, the points from all of RFK's family saying, oh, they're disowning him, and it was like they're irrelevant, really, right?
Exactly. He stood up for America. He stood up for this country, and he's trying to do what's right by coming together. There's so much division in America right now, and it's being placated by the media, being placated by the left, and some people on the right are even trying to placate this because they're making money. I love him coming together with Trump and seeing some actual unity in this country, and people are scared because we can get things done. A country divided just falls. So right now, I really enjoy seeing this unity. Now, we don't agree on everything, but there's enough common ground that we can come together and actually help this country.
Well, I think, Jarrett, the common ground is people just care about the future of this country, people that actually care about the direction we're headed, people that are awake and realize that almost everything out of Kamala's mouth that isn't ripped off directly from Trump policy points is something that's communistic, and they don't. So they talk about, in which this video talked about, and we've shared on this show, and interview with James Lindsay as well. Being unburdened by what has been, so we can see what might be, or whatever whatever mumbo jumbo bullcrap that was literally just Marxist talking points. And the media is sitting out there. They were trashing Kamala for so long. Nobody's ever really liked Kamala, and now they're trying to make her into someone likable. And the fact remains, not everybody, but a lot of people are leaving the party even over the direction that it's been going.
Yeah, because it's no longer the party that they became accustomed to. I became a conservative because when I was a liberal, I felt my party was leaving me. A lot of people in Flexa and other organizations like that felt the same way. We had these strong values, but our party didn't reflect that. And now the party of the left doesn't reflect how it was 4 or 5 years ago. It's so extreme. It's placating to the Hamas supporters and to the AOCs and to the squad. And majority of people in this country aren't extreme left or extreme right. They're center left and center right. So they're not even reaching out to their voters. They're just taking their money and using it. And again, Kamala still didn't have any platforms up. Nothing that she's talking about. But like you said, there's so much support for her because they hate Trump. And the thing that they hate Trump because the media made them hate Trump. Before he ran for president, they loved Trump. He was in Home Alone 2. He had his TV show. I mean, every rapper was talking about, I want to be the black Donald Trump. But now all of a sudden, those same rappers and same people like Oprah and The View are saying he's the devil and he's the Antichrist, for lack of better terms. And it's insane. It's insane, and goes to the absurdity of the left. Because again, when you have no policies, you have to focus on emotional tactics, and their emotional tactics are make you angry, make you feel sad, make you feel depressed, and make you feel reliant on them.
Yeah, and it's so interesting if you look at all of the media people and all of the spin that's been put on Trump and all the attacks. And really, I mean, if you're paying attention, you should be asking why, right? Because it doesn't, frankly, make sense. Just because now, what would be interesting, Jarrett, is if Trump was running as a liberal Democrat, they would all be supporting him. We say this all the time. It's all about power. It's all about money. So we're gonna be talking about a lot of these things today with Kamala, with immigration, with woke corporate policies, DEI. There's a lot to get into with our guests who we'll be bringing on in just a little bit here. But before we do, if you're out there watching, I just want to say, make sure that you guys are sharing our content. Help push this mission forward, because the future of this country is at stake, frankly. And guys, you can do that. You can support what we're doing here at 511 simply by liking our content, subscribing, sharing it out. Making sure other people become aware of what's going on. And before we announce our guests, I got to give a couple quick shout outs to Covenant Coffee, our coffee sponsor. They're doing great things in Bakersfield and Kern County, supporting the emancipated foster youth, really, frankly, being the hands of Jesus here in Kern County. So go check them out online, covenantcoffee.org, or go check them out in person across the street from us at Mohawk in California, in Bakersfield, or on North Chester. And we also got a couple quick announcements. So number one, big event coming up that our guests will be at as well. And Jared and I will both be at coming up in December. And go ahead, Darius, and let's play that video.
What you represent, your presence here, at the largest multi-day event in conservative grassroots history. Is a message that will be heard by these people.
Phoenix, Arizona, people from all over the country.
It's remarkable because it brings everybody
One of
together.
my favorite of the year.
Energy, let us want you to see it.
The stakes are high. We have only begun to fight.
So guys, go out and get registered for AmFest, Phoenix, Arizona, December 19th through the 22nd. Right now they got a special early bird registration going on. I don't know how much longer they're going to have that going, but amfest.com, you can go get signed up. And then the second announcement, another event that Jared and I will both be at, and along with several members of our 511 family and team. And Jared, I'm going to let you make that announcement.
So, guys, September 14th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is the Blessed Night of Faith. It's going to be in Delight Church from 5 to 7 p.m. It's going to have some great people: Madeline Brame, Pastor Lorenzo Sewell. You saw him at the RNC, Michaela Montgomery, Pierre Wilson. Some great food, some praise and worship. This free event takes place on the 14th. I'll be having a pastor roundtable an hour before, so please turn out, guys. We'll be dropping the link to sign up in the comments. And if you would like your church to help sponsor any of these events or promote any of these events, drop a link in the comments as well. We're always looking for like-minded churches to comment, connect, and even host these type of events. So, guys, please come to this amazing event. We'll be there. 511 will be there. It's going to be a great time.
That's right, guys. We'll be filming content. We'll be talking with you guys. If you want to connect with me, Jared, any of the team, we'll be there. And potentially, if you guys want to get on air on an interview, we can do that as well. So, guys, all right. So the moment we've all been waiting for, announcing our awesome guests. I love these guys, Jared. They're doing some awesome things in the marketplace and in the corporate world. I'm gonna let you go ahead and do the honors, and then we got a video we're gonna roll to after that to intro them. But go ahead and go, Jared.
Hey guys, today we have Elizabeth and Cyrus from Freedom 2.0. Freedom 2.0 is a rapidly growing bottled water brand that merges with hydration advocacy. Each bottle features bold statements and a 432 hertz frequency, transforming simple hydration into a platform for free speech and conservation. Elizabeth is a tech entrepreneur with a background in digital media, luxury services, and payments, working with luxury brands like Formula One, Electronic Arts. She's a blockchain pioneer, and Cyrus is a seasoned executive with over 20 years of experience, amazing consultant, generated over $300 million for investors. They believe in free market and free speech. And again, they have such amazing people partnering with them. They're the official water of Turning Point USA. They have amazing freedom fighters like Charlie Kirk, Bill O'Reilly, Morgan, Savannah Craven, and myself. So, guys,
and
give a round of
soonly.
And 511 Media. So, guys, give a round of applause for Elizabeth and Cyrus.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. We're gonna roll a video here in a second, but I did want to comment on you guys, which you guys are so young, and I say that you guys are probably right around my age, and I consider myself young. But then when I read in your bio, Cyrus, 20 years of experience, I was like, man, I guess I got 20 years of experience too.
Yeah, that freedom water makes me look young.
Yeah.
It's the what do you call it? The fountain of youth elixir.
Yeah, exactly. But thanks
Right
for having
on.
it. Thanks for having us on your show.
Absolutely, guys. Darius, let's go with that video.
Do you think that she can win?
Absolutely, she can win. This is going to be a great test of the power of the media to take someone who formerly was universally disliked and transform them into a godlike figure. And they will use everything that they have to try to do that. The question is, are the American people smart enough to see through it? And I actually think the American people are smarter than anybody gives them credit for. And I don't think that they are going to be willing to sacrifice what we have in this country, which is what everybody else wants, even though they try to denigrate our country, say we're systemically racist, we're unfair to people. If we were all that bad, why are all these people trying to get in here? And why aren't people trying to get out of here? So we know that we have something that's very good. And I think the American people realize that, and they're not willing to give that up and trade that for something inferior.
So I'll toss that question over to Elizabeth first. Do you think that American people are smart enough to see through it?
I think they are. And I also want to comment that I think that the Democratic Party did a disservice to the Democratic primary voters who would have had a choice if it would be Kamala or someone else compared to Joe Biden, because Joe Biden was the nominee for so long, up until the very end, almost until the DNC instated her to be the contender. So I think that a lot of Democratic primary voters would have liked to have a choice, and then everyone would be proud to have her as their candidate if she won through those electoral processes.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that they ever had a choice. Biden was first. They did away with the primary to put in Biden, and then they come in later after everybody finally realizes what we all knew all along, that he's not capable of even hardly walking, let alone forming a sentence, after the debacle that was the debate between him and Trump. And so my question, and I think I probably know the answer to this, but Cyrus, do you think that the plan was all along to bring Kamala in?
I don't think so. I think they were considering who would give them the best option of garnering a lot of the votes. And partly one of the biggest decisions that they had to make is where's the money coming from? So Kamala was ultimately probably the choice because of that little loophole or hack that they'd be able to move over the funds that they've raised for Biden to Kamala. But, you know, I'll say they've done this before. They did it with Zelensky. If you think back, I never knew who Zelensky was until they started making these puff pieces about him, saying that he's this amazing, leader and a good family man. And this is before any funding went over to Ukraine. I was like, why am I seeing this on news? I was like, oh, he sounds like a pretty cool guy. I mean, they even got me in originally. But then when they started saying, oh, we're going to send billions of dollars overseas to Ukraine, I was like, I understand this. And I think Americans are starting to wake up because of that, too, when they saw that their taxpayer dollars were going overseas. And that started to become a big conversation amongst my friends, whether if you were left or right or whatever, it didn't matter. People were saying, hey, this is impacting our livelihood, our economy, inflation. Where's this money coming from? These questions are started brought up. So I agree with Elizabeth. I think Americans are smarter than the media right now is giving it credit for. And I think, we will see a little bit of a rising and pushback against any of this type of manipulation that's being trying to be done on our society.
So do you guys think that they actually believe they can win anything, or is this just all about the down ballot, which is what I've kind of speculated for a long time, is they don't actually think that they're going to win the presidency. I don't think they thought they were going to win it with Biden. I don't think they're going to win it with Kamala. And I think that there's people out there that are trying to push the narrative that they will. I don't see that in the cards, but maybe I'm overly optimistic. But do you think they really truly feel they have any sort of a chance, or do you think it's all about the down ballot? I'll let either one of you answer that.
I actually think they do think they have a chance. I think that they're investing a lot of money. They've raised a lot of money. They believe, because they're either told by their lobbyists or their fundraisers or the corporations behind them, that they are going to win. I believe that they believe they're going to win because of however they're using loopholes and rules during the electoral process, that they can find any way possible to win. I mean, this is predicating when I was a child and Al Gore versus George Bush. I mean, that I think, because that was when I was young, that was when I first remember people not accepting the electoral process. And moving forward to challenge elections.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Cyrus.
I was just going to say that, there's too much money on the line for them not to at least tell everybody that they're going to win. But, maybe if they think they can't win, that's irrelevant. It's a matter of there's money on the line. We have to go forward with this. This is where they're at. So they're going to push forward, and they're going to use every resource, whether through proper means or not, in order to be able to, keep control and their agenda intact.
And even if they don't win, their agenda gets pushed more and harder. Even if it's social media getting their message and their word out and censoring the other side, depending on whoever wins. It's maybe it's Pepsi Cola or Kraft Foods or Philip Morris or someone else wants their message out via this candidate, and then we're censoring the other side. So they're telling everyone they're going to win so they can get this message out.
Yeah. Maybe I'm overly optimistic. I don't see it. I see all the momentum going to Trump, and I think that there's been a fake media narrative that the Kamala, or with Kamala coming in, that the momentum has shifted. I still don't see it. Now this could be, hey, I live in an echo chamber. Most people I know are like us, right? But I see way too many people switching sides.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you got to look back between Trump and Clinton, and nobody thought Trump was going to win. And then all of a sudden he came out of nowhere and he was able to take that presidency. So I don't think we need to, we shouldn't underestimate what Kamala and the media machine can do. Right. But at the same time, I agree with you. Within my network, and Warren Buffett said this once before, I'll say this first. He said, if you're going to invest in any stocks, by the way, this is not financial advice, but he said, if you're going to invest in stocks, talk to your friends and family and people and see what they're using. Are they using Apple products or Microsoft products? Are they driving Ford or Mercedes or whatever? And that'll be a good indication of what's actually really happening. And most of the people I'm talking to, whether if you live in California, New York, it doesn't matter. Most of them are, leaning towards Trump. Even some of the people that might say, well, I don't like his personality or whatever, but Trump seems to be the right way. We had a better society, economy. The nation was regarded better while Trump was in office versus Biden. But then the media, turns that narrative and it makes it seem different. And Mike, I'm going to ask you a question. I've asked this to a few people and I haven't gotten a straight answer. How can we verify the votes in which the popular vote or whatever, who's voting which direction, where if it's 49% Trump or Kamala, and like you said, they're trying to make Kamala seem like she's getting the momentum, and they're coming out and throwing these numbers out there. Where are those numbers coming from? Where are those polls coming from, right? How do we verify that those numbers are correct and not just made up by the media trying to, again, change a narrative to be like Kamala's winning, and then, get people to second guess themselves. So, well, I want to be part of the winning party. So maybe I'll vote for Kamala because that's what I feel like everybody else is voting for. I could see that as a psychological hack, but how do we verify all these polls that are being published in all the major networks?
You know, that's a great question, and Jared, I want to get your answer on this too. But my opinion, I remember, and you guys, Elizabeth gave me a little bit of clue that she's a little bit younger than I am. But I remember, so I voted in the Gore Bush election. That was one of the first ones, if not the first one I ever voted in. But I was a voter at that time. But I remember being a kid growing up and working at my dad's farm or being at the house, and we would get phone calls, polling people, and I remember we would always decline, and we're like, we don't want nothing to do with any of that. So we would either tell them no, thank you, politely, or just hang up on them. I don't remember getting a phone call anytime in the past 15, 20 years, after that, checking on that stuff. And so, great question. Who are they polling? And I can speculate, but a lot of the time it seems to be heavily weighted towards the left, towards the Democrats. And, in my mind, I think I see people that don't have anything better to do are the ones answering these questions, because I know the four of us on these calls, we're pretty dang busy, right? So it's hard for us to say, oh yeah, let me take even 5 minutes out of my day to go answer questions that frankly I don't care about, because I do, but I don't, right? I don't care to answer your questions. I actually care about what the answers are. But you guys, we all travel a lot, all the four of us here, and we get out on the street, and I know at least I do, and I would imagine you guys probably all do as well. Whenever we're traveling, we go out and kind of check out the city at least a little bit. We're in airports and everything else. Conversations I have seem to be more predominantly, and even just kind of like the vibe I'm getting from being out in public and being around people. I don't care if it's some of the most liberal cities that are around. I kind of get the vibe that people are more conservative than what the media tries to tell us they are.
Yeah, that's so true. And with my time working on campaigns, you guys know I was the chief of staff, worked in the state house, ran every type of race from school board to governor's race. And when it comes to polling, it's based off the pollster. It's the pollster's political affiliations. Take the Monmouth University poll, for example. I went to the school, I knew the pollster, and he would purposely send the polls to areas where people he felt were low income during the day, who are home around 11, 12 in the afternoon, because he figured people home watching like Maury and these shows will be the type of people that say they support liberal policies. And he was correct. And the reason they do this is a lot of people, a lot of like DNC, RNC, different groups, if you have great poll numbers, that's when the extra money comes in. So they're pushing these polls so more people donate to Kamala thinking that she could win. And again, it's so wrong, because they're manipulating people and they're trying to shut down all these voices. It's an attack on the First Amendment. And I love how your company fights for this. So why is it so important for you to fight for such an important amendment? Why is the First Amendment so important to your company and your mission?
Do you want me to take it? You take it.
Sure.
Okay, he'll take it first, and then I'll go into it after.
Well, it's the First Amendment for a reason. And both Elizabeth and I believe in our liberties and freedoms, and not just ours, but our future generations as well. Because, we were given the ability to grow up, having critical thinking and making up our own mind and decisions, and not being programmed by this media machine or being censored or moderated like we are seeing happening today. And that really pains our heart. So what we really want to do is help paint a brighter future for our generations, protect American values. Again, like Trump, make America great again. America is the greatest nation. I think in one of your clips earlier, it's like, hey, if it's such a bad place, why is everybody trying to come here? Right. And we actually have one water bottle that says, drink this water, move to Canada. A lot of celebrities who are being weaponized by the media to come out and say, hey, if so-and-so wins, we're going to leave this nation. Well, if this nation is so bad, and if so does win, who's holding him accountable to leave, right? It's this constant ridiculous rhetoric that's going out and about, that's brainwashing or programming people not to have their own voice, not to think for themselves. And we think that's the bedrock of having a nation that is rooted in freedom, is your voice. And like a fundamental aspect of your life, if having free speech, is also water, right? Water should also be one of those things that people have access to and be able to drink clean, immaculate water, as Trump put it, said, immaculate water. So, our mission is to really protect the First Amendment, protect people's right to free speech, but also make sure they're hydrated and have the proper hydration in order to live a good, healthy life in America.
I also believe that free speech and the First Amendment includes free thinking. And I feel that over my years of life, that it has been less and less. You're more told what to do. You are more censored. You are more rejected for you thinking differently than your friends. And I want to bring up that my life, I was educated under the Clintons for 8 years and Obama for 8 years. So most of my life was under their education, their educational system, and their values through the school system that I went through. And to hear a politician a couple of years ago, Hillary Clinton, say that we need to deprogram people that vote for Trump or like Trump, it makes me think, wow, you actually programmed me. So now you don't like what you programmed and you want to deprogram me because I think critically. And there are a lot of educated people that are not super leftist or super liberal. I have my MBA. So does Cyrus. So do a lot of my friends. And we are very critical thinkers and we want to push the envelope and we want to debate and have the other side. And open discourse and debate is not happening in this country anymore. So free speech is the most important thing that we can fight for. Again, it is the First Amendment for a reason, because speaking up is the most important thing we have. It's free, and that's why we assigned it to our water, because it is as essential as hydration.
Yeah, and they try to silence any voices. And I've seen you guys come from the corporate USA, which I never had the I don't know if you call it fortune or misfortune of being a part of, but I didn't take part in that. But you guys took part in at least to some period of time, and I don't know what the length of time that was, but you guys were in both, your bios, I've read through both of them, and both very involved in some pretty woke corporations. So these policies are being pushed through schools. The idea, and we talked to several friends of ours that, their family or them themselves have worked for some of these corporations. And they're like, we're not allowed to, or we're afraid to speak up, because if we do, we could be fired. We could be at a minimum blackballed. It's going to affect our job. And so, I wasn't necessarily in the outline planning on going this direction, but I think it is worthy of conversation, because we're pushing it in the schools. They're pushing it in the media. They're pushing it in the corporations. So from firsthand perspective, what have you guys seen of, the silencing of voices, especially in corporate America?
That using the colors red, white, and blue is underlying patriotic and political, so you cannot advertise against that on Meta. Or the word freedom is triggering to people, so you can't advertise with using the word freedom. Any political undertone you're not allowed to advertise against on the Meta platform, which is very fun and interesting way for us, because our name is Freedom 2.0. More is our friends that work at Amazon and Google, or big banks. We're not allowed to leave reviews for our product on Amazon because they were afraid that they would get fired or censored or something would happen, while they're telling us that there are protests during work hours on their campuses for pro-Hamas and Gaza.
Yeah, it's really concerning to see that, and especially when they're also picking sides, right? Obviously, these corporations have shareholders. Most of them are owned like 10% by BlackRock or Blackstone or Vanguard. Basically only a few corporations own them. And then if you just kind of like follow the money, you could kind of deduce exactly where this is all originating from. But that being said, the people, they're becoming zombies, right? So like Elizabeth said, we had friends and family that, worked at FANG. So you think Facebook, Apple,
Netflix,
Google, yeah, like all the corporations, they were hesitant to leave reviews, even though they love their water. And they're like, yeah, this water is amazing. But we can't leave a review because if we lose this income, I have a family of 4, 5, 6, whatever, and I won't be able to provide. And then they kind of got you at that point, right? Because you got to depend on these corporations to be able to make ends meet, have health care. All of like your whole livelihood is based on that. And then if this corporation leans one way or another and says, hey, you have to do this, you kind of have no choice, even if you don't agree with it. And I really empathize with those people. And this is why entrepreneurship is so important, right? And even entrepreneurs are being squeezed right now, where they're like Elizabeth was saying, us as a fairly new company, we're being censored and moderated left and right from what we can say. Like, again, the word freedom apparently is a little too political for a platform like Meta for us to be able to even use the word freedom. And they said it's inappropriate use of language. Well, the word was freedom, right? And we've had things rejected and censored because we use the word freedom. Nothing political one way or another. I never understood how the First Amendment or free speech was a political thing. I thought it was a civil right. It should be everybody's right. It doesn't matter if you're left or right. Everybody should be pro First Amendment and free speech. Yep. So it's just really disheartening to see what happens. But this is, again, exactly why we created this brand, this company with Elizabeth, is we both saw that we needed to protect our freedoms. This goes beyond being a conservative or Democrat. It's rooted in the freedom of every citizen, no matter what side you're on. You all need freedom, and this is why we're here to fight for this.
I also want to bring up that when we started the company, I reached out to a bunch of friendly attorneys that were First Amendment and civil rights attorneys, and one very famous one replied back that he does not want to help us perpetuate this MAGA shit. And I was kind of like, wait a second. I didn't think we were pushing anything MAGA just because it was conservative or libertarian leaning. They automatically assumed that it was just to push the MAGA agenda. And I thought that was very strange because being a First Amendment attorney, it's not about the content, it's about the context of the use of it. So again, there's a very famous case where a Black attorney represented the KKK, which is insane, but he did it because it is based on everybody's freedoms. It's if they take away that freedom, then they take away your freedom, and it keeps going down the list.
So that is so true.
Go ahead, Jared.
I'll say that is so true. And I love that you guys said you're free thinkers. Shout out to Brock. He's one of our free thinkers from Flex that always tunes in. Love you, Brock. So, and all those attacks you're talking about too, being with Turning Point, the same thing happens to us constantly. And, we keep fighting. And one thing I love about your company is that you guys are so new, but you guys are making such great connections and so much such unity. And I love the partnership with Turning Point. Can you guys touch about that a little bit, how that partnership came to fruition? And because in case other companies are looking to do the same, because again, and since January, you guys are everywhere, and it's such an amazing thing to see because it's about freedom, it's about the country. And from our private talks, I know that you got your Christian base, so a shout out to that too, because we need more Christian-based companies in America.
Yeah. Okay. So about a year ago, last AmFest in December, Elizabeth and I attended the event, and we knew about Charlie and Prove Me Wrong, and we saw his content online, but we never got to see him in person. And if you haven't been to any of Turning Point's events, you guys gotta go. It's amazing, the amount of the people, the energy, the content, what you feel, the people you meet. It's just so amazing. So we were there and we were sold immediately. So we reached out and we got connected to some people at Turning Point. We had a lot of shared values, things that we talked about. So, traditional family values, Christian values, and also freedom of speech. So, that just, naturally came to fruition as that partnership came up. I'll say this too. You showed a clip earlier about AmFest coming up in December 19th through the 22nd. To commemorate our 1-year anniversary of being in the Turning Point family, we're also giving away a free trip, all expenses paid. So airfare, hotel, the ticket to AmFest by using the code Charlie on freedom20.com. So go to freedom20.com, buy a case of water using code Charlie, you will automatically be entered into getting an all expenses trip paid to Phoenix to be part of AmFest. It's a way for us to give back, because that's what really put us on the map, and we're very grateful for Turning Point and what everything that Charlie and his team has done. So it's a way for us to give back, and maybe we can make an impact to somebody else, and they come in the next wave of people in the Turning Point family.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. And I know we did the same thing at Believers, and we're actually bringing some people with us that are part of our now growing extended 511 family. I love that you guys are doing that, and that was actually one of the big kind of door openers for us too, is being at AmFest a year ago. So I love that y'all are going to be there. And by the way, I didn't know, but I love the fact that y'all are Christian as well, and want to promote that, especially to our listeners and watchers. You know, they're mostly going to be of the faith persuasion, so I've seen you guys. We've talked about a second ago. But we've seen a interview with who's the CEO of BlackRock. We shared this out recently.
Larry
you guys
Fink.
Remember? There you go. Yes, Larry Fink. And talking about, hey, we got to basically force these ideologies upon people. He's out in front saying it. So why do you guys think that is the direction we're trying to go, and we're shoving it down workers' throats? You know, whether they want to or not. Hey, you got to think this way, or you're gonna get blackballed inside of this business.
Really, I think it's all about the money. And if you disagree with the money, you are not going to get paid or not be able to feed your family. And they just want the control. So the more control they have over you to think, to vote, to work, to do anything, it's all about the money and the control of how you're allowed to spend your money, or where you're allowed to spend your money, and what it's on.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of crazy conspiracy theories you could throw in there, that they're trying to extract energy from us by putting us into stress and stuff like that. Maybe you subscribe to that or not. There's tons of shows like Rick and Morty and stuff like that actually kind of lean into some of those conspiracy in a fun way. But ultimately, I agree with Elizabeth. It really comes down to one thing, and it's control. So, you know, while maybe, over the past 100 years, we've been under delusion, we're in a meritocracy, in this capitalism type of system. But, you know, there is always this like little black cloud that follows us around that says, hey, yeah, this is just an illusion. The elites have total control, and they want to live a certain life in a certain way, right? And it comes down to one word, is governance, right? And whoever controls the money will then control the governance and how society will cascade downwards. And whether if they're doing it for the humor, just looking at us and laughing and saying, hey, you know, this is how people are living, or if they're doing it because they want to hoard all the resources because they might know something we don't, or, you know, it's just like a doomsday type of thinking, whatever it is, it comes down and rooted in control, which is the antithesis to freedom. Right.
I also want to say that this is another reason we started the company the way we did, is because you absolutely do not know sometimes who you're sending your money to when you go to a grocery store. Yeah. A lot of campaigns and candidates and presidents and things buy Fiji water. Fiji water is owned by the Palm Wonderful Corporation that exclusively gives to Democrats and liberals.
Oh, they're extremely liberal. We actually know several people, because they're right here in our hometown. I know several people that, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, Elizabeth, but we know several people that work for and even higher ups at, and I'm not trying to put anybody on blast that is my friend, so I'm going to make a point not to name any names, but yeah, they're some of the wokest, most liberal people around.
So there needs to be another choice. That is a big deal for me, that if I can go into any gas station, grocery store, drugstore, and see Ben & Jerry's liberalism full of diabetes, why can't I have the other side with a healthy hydration that's clean water? Like, so if they can push their agenda, we can at least push the free speech agenda as well. And if they think we're too political, then why are they still selling Ben & Jerry's on their, shelves as well?
Well, they just say we're too political because we we're on two sides of that argument, right? They don't agree with what we have to say, so they're gonna try to say whatever they can to silence our voices. And that I love that that's your mission is the First Amendment, and there's other freedoms under attack as well. So First Amendment, which and the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, all under the First Amendment, and you guys said, and I think it's important to note, and I say this all the time as well, that there's a reason that is the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment, there's a reason that it's the second one, because that's to support the First Amendment, right? Which is being able to have a well-armed citizenry.
Yeah, no, we've seen this in history and in our economy, is that when you get too much centralization of power into one thing, and there isn't enough checks and balances, things can get corrupt. So look at why monopolies or oligopolies destroy economies, and then why the government has to intervene and take away free market policies. But it was the government's policies in the first hand that led to the monopolies and oligopolies, which is kind of funny, right? It's the chicken and the egg thing. It just kind of goes in circles and circles and circles. But the same thing comes down into government policies, and the government is that the checks and balances, I don't even know if they exist anymore. They were supposed to, right? We were supposed to have 3 checks and balances that the president, the Congress. What was the last one? I forgot. But there's 3 branches.
Executive,
Sorry,
executive, legislative, and judicial.
Judicial. Yeah, I was like, what's the legal one? Sorry, judicial. It's a little early here.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So we were supposed to have these checks and balances, and I don't know if that even exists anymore. I don't even, like, the government is really bloated. That's one thing that has really been clear because of the deficit we've been running and the debt we've accumulated over the past 10-20 years. And by the way, mainly under the Democratic parties, right? Because Trump was only in office for 4 years out of the past 20 years, right? Because it was Biden and Obama. And
out of the past 20 years, 16 of those were Democrat.
Yeah, and then somehow it always just gets pinned on the Republican Party that, hey, everything is wrong in this country because of Republican. But you had 16 out of 20 years to right the ship.
Right, right.
One of our labels actually says "Mo money, mo problems," and it all of our bottles have a QR code on them, and it goes
let's
to
bring
an
that
explainer.
up, Darius, while she's talking.
It goes to an explainer video and a comment board about why we actually put this statement on the label. So "Mo money, more problems" actually goes into talking about inflation and the debt and how $1 today isn't what it was the other day, and just the increase in debt that we keep printing money, and the Fed is just out of control.
And no checks and balances again on that. Yeah. Oh wow, I can't believe. So by the way, Mike, this is the first time this has been shown publicly.
Actually,
so you're getting.
It's not. Elizabeth said we could show it.
Yeah. They're printing right now, actually, which is so great.
Yeah. So this is the side of the bottle. Do we have the front view as well?
Yeah. Do we?
There we go. We're going. More America looking. Just rooted in America. With the flag, with the color, with the red, white, and blue.
Yeah. When we said the red, white, and blue was too patriotic, we said we're gonna put blue on our label too. Now
we're gonna lean further. Yeah, exactly. It's I really like the vibe of the new bottles. It's one of the coolest refreshes I've ever been a part of. But yeah, these bottles will be coming out this next month.
Nice. You guys have such a fun product. And here at 511, we love having given knowledge, but doing it in a fun way. Why is it so important to incorporate that type of thing into your company? Because I have one right here that says, this is my kid's favorite. You can't deprogram freedom. They love that one. I think it's hilarious. And then also they're Gen Z, and this product is just reaching the Gen Z crowds so much. Like, we had Lily Kate on here the other day, and she's also one of your freedom fighters. I mean, amazing people. So why is fun so important to get the message across? Because they think as conservatives, we're so doom is gloom and so sad, and the left is the party of fun and Beyonce. Why are you guys so much fun?
Humor and comedy speaks to everyone, and a lot of comedians even recently have been canceled for saying anything that could be conservative or not left-leaning. But humor speaks to everyone, even if you take it as humor or as satire. Like, that's how we can all enjoy each other and get along and open that dialogue and that conversation. When we started this company, I sat there and I said, well, if there's nothing for my age category and Cyrus's age category that speaks to us, well, there's definitely nothing for a younger generation that's in college now or in high school. And where is that prime or that Red Bull or that fun feel for conservative youth? What is that brand that they're excited to hold on to? I mean, when you think of conservative brands, you think of very adult or elderly, products. You think of reverse mortgages, gold bars, back creams, like My Pillow. We love Mike Lindell. It's even funny, like one of our favorite shows, The Boys on Amazon, even brought up Mike Lindell in their last episode.
That's cool.
But again, how many pillows can you have? You can drink like 10 waters a day. So we think that bringing health and sustainability and things to the generation that's coming up and the younger generation that's here now, that they need something to stand behind that's good and powerful, that has a great message. So that's where we started. That's where we are now. And again, going into how the left thinks they are the fun, cool, hip, young party. Why? We're fun. I drive race cars. Like, Cyrus goes to meditation. Like, we enjoy all the same things. You wouldn't sit there and say, oh, well, because they like this, they must be liberal. Like, that's not true at all. We all have things that overlap with each other and we can all get along. We all believe in sustainability. That's why we have a partnership with 4Ocean. And we've already dug out 17,500 pounds of plastic from the ocean because we care about that just the same as everybody else. So being a freedom fighter and caring about the First Amendment, you also care about the planet. That's not just a liberal thing. And don't let them own this. Don't let them own screaming at the sky. Like, if I liked blue hair and I'm a conservative, let me have my blue hair. Like, these things like are not liberal or conservative. Like, stop having them own Beyonce and good music. Like, conservatives can make good music too.
Well, and I think also the because caring about the environment, because we try to make that a leftist thing, and certain elements of that are, because there's a whole which we could get into a whole nother show, but there's more money and other stuff behind that and control and other things, but as a general base layer of caring about the environment, that's actually, I think, a Christian godly thing to care about the environment, because God gave us this earth and asked us to be good stewards of it. But, so for us to say, oh, well, that's a leftist thing, I think is wrong. Now, the way they go about it and the way they try to use it to control and manipulate, yeah, absolutely. But that's a whole separate issue. But you guys are doing some awesome things. And I'm interested in this thing you talked about. Is it 4Ocean?
Oh yeah, 4Ocean. It's a partnership with, so we're from South Florida. 4Ocean is a Boca Raton, Florida company that started that actually certifies companies as being plastic neutral. And actually we went above and beyond, and we are doing beach cleanups, and we are actually from some of the events that we went to, we're recycling our bottles and creating bracelets in partnership with 4Ocean with how many pounds of plastic we're digging out of the ocean with them. So we are very concerned about the environment. We're very concerned about sustainability as much as we are your health and the First Amendment.
Yeah, which you could get those bracelets at AmFest. So if you guys come there, we'll be getting them out at our booth. Elizabeth and I talk about this all the time. Sustainability is a big initiative, and it's not just some lip service or anything like that. That we care about it because we care about future generations. Mm-hmm. What good is it if we get all this kind of stuff, but our future generations, our kids can't enjoy the same sort of resources or earth that we had as today. So it's taking the while we live in a capitalistic society, and a lot of value is rooted in accruing money or shareholder value, whatever however you want to put that. But then again, there is the other side. Is like, I could commit all the money, but if Earth's destroyed, how am I going to enjoy it, right? If everybody else is destroyed, how am I going to be able to enjoy, my neighbor, right? So, and that is rooted in the Bible, actually, as well. So, it's more about let's look at this holistically. While we could, make money and make cool products and hydrate people and all that kind of stuff, which is great, but at the same time, we're critical thinkers ourselves. It's like, okay, hey, how can we do something that gives the best outcome for everything involved? And it's not just about money. It's also about how I can enjoy my life with my friends and family and create those memories and experiences. Because the most important thing in your life, you really look back at it, once you get older, is going to be memories, friends, and family, really, and those relationships you have. And creating an environment where those could really foster that type of environment and blossom is really important to us.
Yeah.
See, that's so. Go ahead, Mike. So that's so important, guys. I love everything that you're saying. This is a reason I wanted to come apart, become a freedom fighter. And you have such great other people who are part of your team, like Morgan and Savannah. I mean, such great people. So if some of our listeners were interested in joining the fight with you guys, what would be the steps to becoming a freedom fighter?
Great. So if you go to freedom20.com, we have, I think, a really cool website. We developed it for people to understand our product and see who we really are. But one of the tabs that you can drop down or just scroll down is the Freedom Fighters. If you just click on that, enter your information, and then we have a new hire, Gage, who is our affiliate and ambassador director. So he will be reaching out to them directly.
Yeah, and we have a Discord where we have a lot of conversations, for a community. You come in there, we don't censor or moderate. You come in there, you can speak your mind, talk about different type of topics. We have multiple different channels. So, reach out to us through Freedom Fighters tab on freedom20.com. And then there's also a Discord link if you want to join the conversation. We'd love to see you there.
Join like-minded individuals. If you're a content creator, find ways to make the newest, best content with either Freedom Water or any other product. Talk about some experiences you've had that you may not be able to talk about on other platforms like Reddit, because Reddit's super liberal. If you've been censored on a platform and want to ask people how to get around it or what steps were to, request a review, there's a lot of valid information in our Discord that can really help people who have been censored or rejected from other platforms.
Yeah, that's awesome, and we've gotten a lot of that over here at 511. We actually lost YouTube. We were deplatformed, 10,000 followers on there, and but that happens all the time. With we get content on TikTok or TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and they're like, oh, this is misinformation. What's misinformation? Because it's a misdirection of the information that they want to put out, which is a lot of times not even true in the first place. But we did drop y'all's link in the comments here for anybody who's watching. Go to the comments. We'll make sure the link's out, and we're gonna definitely be doing some more stuff with y'all too.
Yeah, and follow us on socials at drinkfreedom20, Instagram, Twitter, X. We're on all of them, so make sure to give us a follow.
Yeah, drop that in the comments too, guys, if we can. No, we believe in you guys' mission, and that's why we want to have a partnership with y'all and continue to pursue that and continue to pursue fighting for the First Amendment and for our rights and our freedoms, and not just First Amendment, Second Amendment, our religious freedoms, which is part of the First Amendment, and all the things that probably most of you guys out here watching, listening, believe in. Even if you guys maybe got this link from somebody else and you're a traditionally a Democrat, but you're starting to see all of the direction that party's going, you're like, man, they left me behind, right? Because we've seen, how many times, guys, have we seen people that were traditionally, I've considered people that I'm like, man, I don't even want to listen to them because they're so far left, and now they're almost looking like they're coming to our side, and it's really not they're coming to our side, their side's leaving them. Like the biggest one that comes to my mind is Bill Maher, but Elon Musk and several others that were traditionally Democrat, and now they're like, well, we're conservative now, I guess, because we weren't, but now we are.
Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, the other day. I
Yeah.
mean, it's very telling when people you thought were extreme on one side are coming to the center or to your side, because it's telling the world that these people are critical thinkers and they're rejecting what their side is telling them.
Yeah, that's right. So, guys, go out, check out freedom20.com. Go check out on social media at drinkfreedom20. But guys, we're going to be bringing some more of this stuff to you. We're going to be bringing more of Elizabeth and Cyrus and Freedom20 to you guys too. But Jarrett, why don't you go ahead and close us out?
Hey guys, like always, it was good to come together. It's good to have this information. It's good to talk, but if you don't take it with you and do something about it, it's all for nothing. The best thing about Freedom 2.0 and Mike and myself is we're boots on the ground. We're not just talking to you guys. Everything we're saying and asking you to do, we do ourselves. And the only way we win is through unity. The only way we win is boots on the ground. And the only way we win is not placating and standing up for our rights. We have these rights. They are God-given. And we will fight to these for tooth and nail, because it's not about anyone on this call. It's about anyone watching. It's about the next generation. And we have people who fought for us, and we need to do the same. So God bless, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow with a surprise guest. So look out for our promotion.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Jared. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for watching. Yeah, absolutely, guys.
Bye-bye.